Hello, everyone. My name is Jack Simon, and this is my Eli project, Sustaining Strength. So, first, a little bit of background about me and my idea. I'm a competitive powerlifter and environmentalist, so I knew that I wanted to combine my two core passions for strength training and sustainability and see where they met. So I started off by doing some research into gyms and their environmental impact and found that they're often an overlooked source of emissions and water usage. One study by the University of Minnesota showed that an average small gym consumes up to 60,000 kilowatt hours per year of electricity, as well as multiple hundreds of thousands of gallons of water annually. So that's where I got my idea to try to promote sustainability, physical fitness, and support local businesses by partnering with local gyms to decrease their water and electricity usage. So that brings me to my mountaintop goal and my SMART goal. So starting with the mountaintop goal and the big picture, how it breaks down into my specific goal, how that breaks down into my process, and how that breaks down into the actions I took. So my mountaintop goal was to influence the culture of gym owners and goers to prioritize reducing environmental impact. And that's because through my experience and through what I had seen in my research is that gyms just didn't necessarily prioritize reducing their environmental impact or just sustainability in general. And I wanted to bring that to the forefront of the culture as well as I wanted to take action on that. So that brings me to my SMART goal, which was to work with 2 to 3 gyms to adopt water and energy saving changes by June to August of 2025. So that breaks down into my process, starting off with landscape analysis, where I researched both local gyms and gyms across the country to see what gyms were doing in terms of sustainability and what the leaders were in that area. I did a lot of contacting local gyms, trying to figure out who would be willing to work with me. I pitched all of them on trying to reduce their water and energy usage, which would also result in a reduction in utility costs. But of course, I'm looking for that reduction in environmental impact primarily. Um, or at least that was my motivation to try to partner with these gyms. And once I was able to get responses from and get affirmations from a couple of gyms, including Key2 Fitness, Kinetic Fitness, and Prevail Conditioning, those were the three I partnered with. I was able to meet with them and start discussing possible areas of improvement. And I was able to begin budgeting and figuring out where I could best put my resources to have the most impact. Then I began sourcing materials and funding, and then I began implementation. So the action was that I took was to implement water saving faucets. I drafted a plan for an LED lighting retrofit, and I connected gym owners with contractors for said lighting retrofit, as well as an AC unit replacement that I will discuss later on. But yeah, these were the 3 gyms I partnered with, and what I did. So here's my water efficiency achievements. I was able to install 10 low flow faucet aerators across 3 gyms, which were all significantly below the federal EPA standards as well as the WaterSense efficiency standards for flow rates of the faucet aerators themselves. The average pre-installation flow rate was 1.66 gallons per minute, and that is an average flow rate reduction of 78.9% from 1.66 down to 0.35. And that comes out to a total water savings of over 40,000 gallons per year across the 3 gyms. And you can also see in the chart here of estimated water use of the faucet specifically per day before versus after aerator installation at each respective gym. And you can see that very steep drop off from the before and after and the gallons per day. And that is evident due to that 80% flow rate reduction. And also, it's not just a reduction in water use, it's also a reduction in energy use because using less water means using less hot water, and using less hot water means using less energy to heat that water. So that's also some energy savings there. And here's a flow rate comparison of one of the faucets that I exchanged. Here's a 2.2 gallons per minute aerator on the left and a low flow one that I installed on the right. And you can just see how that volume of water in the sink is much less. And yeah, it's a huge difference. So it's great. Next up, we have energy efficiency planning. I identified lighting and HVAC systems as primary sources of energy consumption in all of the gyms. I partnered with Tri-County Regional Energy Network, which is a county government collaboration between Santa Barbara County, Ventura County, and San Luis Obispo County that provide dollar incentives to reduce energy usage through electricity reducing projects in commercial gyms, or I mean, in commercial businesses. So I met with their people and I connected them with gym owners to try to find basically additional funding through their programs for my LED lighting upgrade plan, which I helped develop, that will reduce electricity usage of one gym by 49%, and that is equivalent to over 3,600 kilowatt hours per year. And that is at the Key2 Fitness Carpinteria location. And that's really exciting. And that should be installed by August of 2025. I'm continuing to work on that now. And then I'm also developing a plan to replace a broken AC unit with a more energy efficient replacement. That's at the Santa Barbara Key2 Fitness location. And I'm also planning on continuing to discuss potential future sustainability initiatives with gyms. And that could include becoming California Green Business certified with California GBN, or LEED Business certified, or LEED Green Building certified as well. So leadership lessons. I learned the importance of patience and time management. Working with these kinds of projects, it takes a lot of time to source the materials, to build the buy-in, to communicate and organize, and then actually get these things installed, especially like an LED lighting retrofit takes some time. And that also goes right in with business operations and priorities have to be accounted for in project timelines. When you're collaborating with business owners, I had to understand that their business operations were going to come first and that's their priority. So that is something I had to kind of learn and to work with and be flexible with. I also learned how to coordinate with multiple collaborators and become a really effective communicator. I sent a lot of emails and I had a lot of meetings with the gym owners as well as the Tri-County Rent people, as well as UCSB, Recs and facilities people, and other sources of information. There was just a lot of emailing and meeting and bringing people together and making sure everyone's in the same loop with the same information. It takes a lot of work, and becoming an effective communicator, I think, was one of the most important leadership lessons that I gained from this experience. I also learned how to gather resources like grant writing, and learned how to budget and try to figure out where I could place my time and money that would have the most environmental impact in the time that I had. And I also learned some problem solving skills, overcoming obstacles. One problem I had was the faucet aerators I ordered. The supplier didn't actually have the ones that I ordered, so I had to switch to a different supplier, but I was still able to get those delivered and installed, and that was a small obstacle I was able to overcome there. And here you can see me pictured with gym owner Brian of Key2 Fitness, and yeah, he's a good guy. It was nice working with him, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. Special thanks to gym owners Brian, Peter, and Jordan, as well as these people who made this project possible. Eli Director Erica Zolit, thank you so much. Director of Campus Sustainability, Katie Maynard, and who is also my mentor for this project. We have Eli founder and former director Simone Pulver, as well as the director of undergraduate research, Anita Stahl, who made this project possible with the funding of the IRCA grant. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening.